think we're going. We should be live now. Just making sure of it. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. That looks right to me. Just one more check. Yep. Cool. Yeah. Good, good, good. We are ready to roll. Welcome everybody. It's Maniac for Bricks, and I just I just got this in the mail today. I actually waited a few hours because I had some other business to take care of, but I am now ready to open up, build, and talk about the Lego Ideas set Sonic the Hedgehog Green Hill Zone. I am really looking forward to this thing. This Lego Ideas set number 39, released in 2022, and retailed for I think 70, if I remember correctly. Gonna do one check over just to be sure. For those who are wondering about it, it is still available on the Lego website. It is available in Lego brand stores. It's not available in other retailers currently, but Ideas projects do show up later than normal. So, maybe it will a couple months down the line, as we've seen with the medieval blacksmith. A couple other sets from last year followed a similar suit. Yeah. So, why isn't it? Come on, bring it up. I'm very happy to have people here in the chat. Hopefully, we'll have some fun discussion, whether about Lego, Sonic, or anything else. I just want to have some time to spend with y'all because I know that the live streams don't happen as regularly as other folks, but when I have the time here, I still want to be able to connect with you. I did a whole big sentimental thing about it the other day when reviewing. Well, not reviewing, but when going over the stuff I received throughout the holidays and what it meant to me for connecting with people through the holidays. So, what do you mean I'm getting a 404? That shouldn't happen. Let's try that again. Yeah, $70 retail in US for this set, which I think is a fair price and seems to be the benchmark that Lego Ideas has been at for quite some time. I mean, for many years, they've had some low end sets as low as $20 to stuff around the 30s, 35, maybe 50, then 70, like all at the same time. But nowadays, you don't see a lot of the low end stuff. I remember the last time that we saw anything that was under 70 in, I want to say, the past 2 years, but I could be wrong. Um, but also, when it's at a mark like that, you get a lot more to do with it, a lot more put into it. I also also going along a little something to start things off because I have a Sonic the Hedgehog amiibo from for Nintendo, the Super Smash Brothers line. I thought it'd be fun to have here as well as a little decoration. Move it back over here for now. And sitting right underneath the table, but I'll bring it back up. It's a good old plush of Sonic's head from Target. I don't know if it was a Target exclusive, but that's the only place I've heard it being available, and it's still pretty cool. I trying to jazz up the building area surrounding me with some Sonic-esque things I've already had for some time. So I'm gonna move the camera back down, and we'll get this on the road. As much as I'd love to be playing Sonic music in the background, I don't think I can. I don't think it'll technologically work from my end, or even the fact that it might get flagged. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't have that. It's not going to be as much spirit to it as I would like, but I'm trying to bring it in other ways. When I first built the Lego Mario set, something else I was very excited that there was official products for it. I did something kind of similar. The original plan for it was to build the Lego Mario sets, the like 2 or 3 that or actually there was like a bunch that day, almost a whole wave of them. I planned to build them while watching the Super Mario Brothers live action movie, and unfortunately could not find it on a streaming service or any digital media at the time. I did not have it in time. I didn't even know if it was still available on DVD, let alone a VHS or something. So it was like, all right, fine. I wound up instead just using the Super Mario Brothers Super Show and The Wizard, as in the movie The Wizard, which features Super Mario Brothers 3 um, as a substitute. I would love to do something similar to that with Sonic, because again, it's something that I have waited for more than half my life to be a thing. I was really happy this became not only a project, but also that it made it through to become an actual set. Um, I do not have any Sonic media that I'm going to be able to use in the background, and I prefer to checking in with you guys and chatting. Um, Instead, we'll all get to share the experience, and I get it on record. There you go. It's almost better than the Mario one by default because I get it archived as a thing. I'm not gonna lie. I love Mario. I love Sonic. I love those games. Maybe not every single one of them from either franchise, but I'm still excited to see both of them represented in Lego form. And even though we already had Sonic first in Lego Dimensions, it was as a level pack. It was fine, and it was a cool level pack. It was actually fun to play. But this is even better. This is a full play set that we have available. All right. So I'm just getting a little of what's the ins and outs of what's in here. So I gotta sort these bags as I usually do when starting up a Lego set. The numbered bags get sorted in order, so it'll be easy to just pick them off as I go through building it. There's number 1. There's number 3. So this I find a little surprising right out the gate. Does have stickers. And I know ideas sets usually have a lot of printed elements to them, but we do have some stickered elements right there. So these are for the sides of the Green Hill Zone itself, that kind of earthwork, and some really small sticker here. I guess this is a high score thing. That's what I'm guessing right off the bat. There's a little black screen here that shows a 1, 2, and 3, several numbers, but um, there is a cheeky little Easter egg in here. The third high score, it says 1991, as in the year the Sonic the Hedgehog first released on the Sega Genesis. So you know what? That's cool. I don't know if right off the bat, I can't figure out if any of the other ones here are Easter eggs of any kind, with the names of the people or even the scores of everything. It's not ringing a bell with me offhand, but maybe it'll explain in the instructions. I'm not sure. There is also a second sticker sheet that decided to hide away for a bit. So we don't actually get a lot of printed things in here, do we? Outside of, the characters. Even some of the characters, the badniks, you can see their faces are printed in here. Each of the item boxes also have some stickers. We've got some ventilation and things that will go on the Eggmobile. And this was facing sideways, but we have the life count for Sonic, which is cool. It is still cool having it as a sticker. I will give it that. And this is something that I could see if somebody parts it out to Brinklink at some point in the future. Would be cool to get the sticker sheets on their own just to expand upon the set. Although, as an idea set, I don't know how likely that's going to happen, but it might. It could turn up like that. All right, I'm going to move the box out of the way and we can get to the build. I've been noticing this with a couple of Lego sets recently, that sometimes the features on the front of the box do not show everything, and I'm actually curious about it right now. No. No. Okay. I mean, it's fair enough that the back of the box would show you not only the play features, but also everything you get in here, all the contents. But I was used to it also being on the front, and it's not here like that, but it's okay. Again, not a rarity. just something I picked up on recently and just wanted to go through. Acknowledging. I got one more thing I want to add in here before we get started. And make sure that's working. All right. I got bags 1 and 2 here because they look relatively small, so I think it'll be easy, a breeze to get through them. I will be adding stickers as we go along. Something I wanted to mention here because I used to do it a lot, and then there was a period in 2019, 2020 or so where I didn't, and I've been trying to work my way back into that, or for specific purposes, where it's like, okay, this set, it really looks nice with the stickers, so I will go with them. Or there's some cases where I want to use the parts elsewhere or think it looks okay without the stickers. So I don't. This one, I'm going to add them on. I don't want to say it's a 9 out of 10 because I haven't even built it yet, but I'm excited for this. So I do want to start off. This is a square-bound instruction booklet that features the title screen from Sonic the Hedgehog, which is appropriate. Very nice way to start off instructions. Also says booklet available in English on QR. So a little QR code in the bottom corner so you can digitally build this without flipping through the pages. I know it might be cheating, but I'm already going to look at the back of the instructions because I didn't know this until now. They have a little end screen with Eggman jumping up and down very angrily and end in different languages. Yeah, it's actually an animation from the game. If I remember correctly, it's from the actual end of the game, like when you beat the game, if I remember correctly, where Eggman stomps up and down on the word that says end or thin. So it has a little bit of a squish to the text, which is great. Okay, all right. And first page in here shows about the ideas project itself. This was a digital render that was based on Sonic Media. I want to see if I can find. I'm just reading a little bit through here. I'll definitely read more of this on my own and probably reread it several times. Sonic Media game was created with the help of two fans turned professionals, Christian Taxman Whitehead and illustrator and director Tyson Hayes. Celebrate the game's 25th anniversary. It went on to become one of the most popular Sonic games to date. Absolutely. That game, I can't believe it's already 5 or so years old. Like, wow. And I still enjoy Sonic Mania to this day. I consider it the unofficial Sonic 4, even though there is technically a Sonic 4. Let's see. Tyson Hayes also recently worked on the Sonic the Hedgehog movie released in 2020. Yep. That was the last movie I saw in theaters before the lockdown. February 14th, I saw it the day of, and I was very happy with that. I'm not happy enough to get on DVD yet. I still got to do that. But I still remember it. I still thought it was great when I saw it. Lego fan designer Viv Grinnell has taken Sonic fan works to the next level. In her Green Hill Zone, she recreated the game's pixelated graphics and gameplay so vividly with Lego bricks and packed it with humorous nods to the classic game and the cool, cute, and quirky characters we have loved for 30 years. Okay, so about that, this is the Sonic Mania render, so yes and no to that extent. But Sonic and Lego fan communities rallied around the project from the very beginning. Viv took the time to read and reply to every comment and suggestion and surprised and enthralled everyone with her creative new updates and details along the way. I did follow a couple of those updates. Did not get a chance to interact with her directly. Oh, this is cool. So they did mention this on the box, somewhere. I know it's around here. I know they put it on the box somewhere. No, they didn't. I've been lied to. This Lego set, even though it released in 2022, is considered a 30th anniversary set of sorts because this 30th anniversary of Sonic would have been 2021. There was a lot of celebrations and extensions of gameplay to other games as well throughout the year. I was following some of this. I didn't get to everything, but I did get to Sonic in Minecraft. That was cool. But they actually have in the instruction manual a timeline of Sonic mainline games, or at least ones as with significant impacts through Sonic history, and showing the 30th anniversary logo at the end. This one having the this is just about the film. I I get to try to like consolidate it. There's a lot more Sonic stuff that happened, of course, but this hits the main points as it needs to. So A Star is Born. Sonic jumps into the gaming scene in 16-bit style. 1992. A year later, we have Tails. 96. 3D game. Sonic 3D Blast releases. Arguably 3D. I mean, I've heard about it for some time that it's like, okay, they make 3D images and then they convert it to 2D sprites. So the game appears to be in 3D, but it's still run in a 2D engine. Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 were much like that. A lot of like Super Nintendo Rare-based games were like that for some time. There's some blurbs in here about the fan designer Viv, as well as the the Lego set designers, product designers that helped with working the project into the Lego set. Senior graphic designer Lauren Cullen King. As a big fan, I wanted the Sonic minifigure to be iconic and classic. It was a fun challenge to recreate the pixelated graphics from the game. I hope fans will enjoy the extra stickers, item boxes, and Motobug so that they can customize the model. So yeah, it'll be cool. I've heard the debate for a while about stickers in Lego sets, where you get a bit more quality with it being printed, but there is always a chance that it could get scrubbed, that things fade over time. I mean, the classic example is the 1980s Spaceman. So having, oh Ben, welcome Ben, good to see you, man. I'm always happy to have you here. So yeah, I've heard people that actually like stickers in comparison to prints because stickers give you customization options. You can put things on, you can take things off, you can get more of them, so you can add it much further. Stickers can cover small details that would be not impossible, but very difficult in minifigure scale, especially. So yeah, let's do this. I also noticed that on the bottom of each page, and some people pick this set up in stores, so I know that from Twitter, people already posted a little bit about it. On the bottom of each page, similar to the Monkey Kid instructions in the Lego sets for Monkey Kid, they have a little minifigure of Sonic running across. So that's cool. There is another thing about that I won't spoil right now, but will come up in a bit. So it kind of runs along, kind of like adding to the progress of the set being built. I actually did a video several years ago on my YouTube channel about Sonic, about a personal retrospective of the series. And it hit a bunch of the points about the games that I had grown up playing, how I feel about them nowadays, and it's tough for me of being a fan of video gaming for a long time, but still being very amateur at it. The old games were tough for a reason. Then they were not They took a lot to master. Let's put it that way. And I get it, but still took me a while to get through it myself. Maybe eventually that'll be fun to share here. So here's our Sonic. He's got the light nougat arms and even the chin and the torso. So as opposed to the Sonic from Lego Dimensions, I don't have them available right now, but I will. I would love to share about that later if you haven't seen it already. The light nougat areas that are on this Sonic would have been tan on that one. So it is nice that they are shown here. And they could have made them light nougat at the time. They already had that for the arms in other minifigures here and there. But I think it's more of an accuracy thing. And like, this looks a bit better than they first proposed. It's the same head design with a different print on it. They don't have the green pupils for eyes like the modern Sonic. It's just the black and white eyes. Smirk on the side of him, which works out very nicely. I'd also like the shoes, having a little extra detail on the shoes, like the little straps, the little ring straps. I don't know exactly what they're called, but they're cool. He doesn't have soap shoes, unfortunately, which is actually a brand of shoe for the modern Sonics here and there. Give me a second, Ben. I know I saw you. I know you saw you left a comment, but the screen's tilted down, so I'm gonna have to pull it up from the side to make sure I can. Oh, just give me a moment. Having just packed and moved, all my stickers from the early 2000s are in real tough shape. That makes me sad. Pretty sure they're higher quality plastic now, so I've never minded them. Yeah, I think the tough thing about, I mean, things improve over time. I mentioned before about the 80s, printing on the classic Spacemen would rub off. The layering that goes into the classic space logo. It's like the gold would wear away, then the red, then the white, and But nowadays, they make a minifigure like that for classic space or otherwise, and it should sustain longer. I think people are also more mindful of it. People are using it more, carefully in collectability, so it probably won't get as much damage moving back and forth. But stickers in the same way. The 2000s, I remember some of the soccer sets from the 2000s actually had some very, very rough stickers. And in the way that if you were to peel them off from what they were attached to, they would rip apart. Or at least I found that not at the time, but like over time, So like a good decade or so later, the stickers would not hold as well as they used to. Animated Madness, welcome to the stream, dude. Good to see you. Welcome. Happy to have you here. What? No, Hey, Ben, don't worry about it. You're all very important to me, so I'm very happy to have you all here. I probably should. That's on me. I probably should have pulled it up on the sidelines in advance, so I could read the chat better. But yeah, we're gonna be doing good. I'm literally using the camera on my laptop to face this, so if I need to adjust anything, please let me know. It's not a permanent streaming setup. I do not have, giant LEDs to move around the place like in other areas. But we'll make it happen. Make it all come together. So Sonic has his own display stand, which I think is really cool, which also will hold these 7 Chaos Emeralds. And right now we got a little setup there. So funny enough, if I'm going to be spewing Sonic facts all throughout this, unless the book does it for me. If I remember correctly, the original Sonic the Hedgehog video game did not have 7 Chaos Emeralds. It's kind of just become, I mean, it's been a thing for a long time, but it did not start at the first game. I think the first one had either 5 or 6 emeralds, or they weren't even called emeralds, or something to that effect. I know that Sonic CD developed shortly after this game, but released way later, was they had time stones. They were not emeralds at all. They were not intended in the same merit, the same power as Chaos Emeralds. So it's fun to see it here, even though it's not part of the game, but it's it's part of Sonic. It's part of the iconography that it's cool to have here. I understand that for the Sonic Mania project to become Green Hill Zone, it was a choice of familiarity. Like Sonic Mania is still widely recognized, but still probably has a layer in between that people may not be familiar with it as much. And Green Hill Zone is always a good backup plan. I mean, take it from the Sonic team themselves. They incorporate Sonic. They incorporate Green Hill Zone, the first zone of the Sonic the Hedgehog game. Um, so, it's so many. It's so many later games, especially when it's based on like a retrospective, like Sonic Generations, or as an Easter egg, like um, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I would love. I think Sonic Adventure 2 without Battle has that as well. But I would that game. If you don't know me, I love Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. That I would not be as much a Sonic fan if not for that game. Um, I have not completed that game. I've gotten a lot done in it. I've gotten a lot of the power ups, a couple of the extras, and I uh, I do know that there was a Green Hill Zone Easter egg in there. That is like a 3D playable um, uh, level, basically. But I have not gotten all the requirements to unlock that yet. Dude, that was fun. So you already built this one. I didn't know you. I didn't know you built it already. But I'm glad you enjoyed. So you can't imagine Lego choosing something like Mario Maker over New Super Mario Brothers or over 8511. Yeah, exactly. I thought about that too. I when Lego Mario was teased before the what I like to call um I forget what I called it. I had a nickname for it for like a solid year. The the board game like aspect of the Lego Super Mario sets we see now. Um, I thought the direction they were going to go in was not only for minifigures, but very similar to Minecraft, in which they would develop these little parts of levels that you could combine them all together, and in my prediction of it, would possibly convert it into 3D as opposed to just being 2D, with just a couple hinges or building it out back a bit, and I came up with a couple digital models or basically mocks of it in Digital Designer or Studio, and they still look cool, but I based it on level 1-1, which again iconography. So here we have one of them. I forget exactly what this thing is called, and it doesn't give me a caption in the book about it. I know that in general the robots are called badniks because of Robotnik, badnik, the bad guys. What's also charming in the instructions is that as you build any of the enemies, which is another secret I knew before this arrived at my doorstep, Sonic loses his rings and falls on the ground. That's fun. And, later just getting back up. So that's cool. Haven't had time to put it together a post. It's been nuts. I understand that. It's been a little nuts around here too. But I'm trying to make the best of it. Is that the GameCube or Dreamcast? Yes. So Sonic Adventure 2 was on the Dreamcast first, and then a year or two later came out on the GameCube, where they called it Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And the battle part of it is more definitive because you have multiplayer much more fleshed out in that one. I have not played the Dreamcast version, and I don't know for sure if it included a lot of multiplayer options, I grew up with it on the GameCube because I didn't own anything that wasn't Nintendo up to that point, but I also didn't own everything Nintendo. I uh, I never had. I did not have a Super Nintendo growing up. I got that much later, and I remember this like photographically. I'm so glad that my memory sometimes works really, really well and captures moments that are really important to me. If I remember correctly, the date wise, that's the only part I'm not sure about. But visual memory, it's so gold. Um, this had to have been Christmas 2000 or 2001 or so. Um, very late into the game, the not GameCube, very late into the Nintendo 64's lifespan. Our family did not always get them, day one purchase kind of thing. We'd usually get it a little time afterwards or when the generation's almost passed. So at least we know what we're expecting. We know what games are, available for it, and it's usually cheaper at that point. So, yeah, I got my brother and I got the Nintendo 64, and with that, we also got a second controller. It was a kind of box that included two controllers, but no game. Most N64s didn't include a game for some reason. But I remembered it was either that Christmas or the following Christmas. Some short time later, we went over to my cousin's house, and he had a GameCube, pretty much brand new. Like short time after it released, we saw the GameCube at his house, and it was like, "Whoa, that's kind of cool." Even though we have the N64, um, no, we didn't. We didn't. We didn't have the Virtual Boy. Man, if I had the Virtual Boy, I don't know what I'd do with myself. I would be a whole nother person. Um, so we saw that my cousin had the GameCube, and one of the first games I saw on the GameCube was Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and I loved it. It is it is burned in my brain the memory of seeing the first stage of it, City Escape, and hearing that music and seeing the action moving about. Like I was enamored. It was incredible. I loved it. Um, and I do not remember if I was playing anything Sonic related from anybody else up to that point. The only thing I can recall at an early age, again, chronologically, needs to be figured out. But I do remember at an early age, I had a Genesis. I had two Genesis plug and plays. The plug and plays were all the rage, and Jack Pacific being one of the leading brands of it, had a lot of licensed games to each of them, and then some that were just based on licensed characters. Um, but I can remember at a young age playing. Oh, so we do have a printed piece in here. It's 1x4 tile with some grass detail. So I remember playing the Genesis of sorts of Sonic the Hedgehog on a plug and play. Um, I also remember at a young age I had a whole big CD collection, like PC CDs of Sonic games, Sega games in general, but it had a lot of Sonic stuff to it, like multiple discs about it or including it as the highlight. Um, a lot of interesting. So funny enough, one of the games that was on there is called Sonic CD. I thought, okay, no brainer. They made it. They made a Sonic game, which is for console, as a PC game. I was dumb. I was naive. I did not know about the Sega CD. I did not know about the 32X. I didn't know really anything about the Sega lineup of consoles and how this was literally just ported over. One second. Yep. All right, one sec. It's not a live stream of Joey's without a little be right back moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I counted way too many. All right, sorry about that. I'll be right back, and I will I will come back to the comments in just a second. I saw that big Nintendo 64 in the comments. I know what you did. Guys, I know I'm unpopular, but sorry, I lost my train of thought already. Still here to have a good time. All right. Hearing the music, seeing the action, rolling around at the speed of sound, it was awesome. Yeah, that's a that's a quote. It's a quote for the ages. All right, let's keep it going. So building the tree, which I'm surprised it's a small structure. I thought it would be built into something bigger, but honestly, this is probably better because then it could be put. You could literally gain the parts, just seed the parts for this or whatever from other stuff or Bricklink on its own. I think the only difficult things would be the printed tiles, of course, and these pieces in lime green. I don't remember another set that has them in lime green right now. So just deal with that. So yeah, I was saying that I had played the original Sonic the Hedgehog through PC CD-ROM and on a plug and play. So I've had very little experience with an actual Genesis or most other Sega hardware um, firsthand, other than the Pico, as we all know. I also played Sonic 2, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which I was again, a naive kid here who didn't understand how that worked. Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic and Knuckles being a lot carrying over from one to the other, being on purpose because they wanted to be a big game, and then they're like, we can't do that. It's fine. It's fine in retrospect. Is it funny to me, as I started building this, I had Green Hill Zone in my head, But now I have Palm Tree Panic, which is basically the Sonic CD version of Green Hill Zone in my head. I do remember playing. I had the Sonic Mega Collection on the GameCube, where I got to play them on console. Um, I had Sonic Adventure DX, which was on the GameCube. I actually do not know, like, if a lot of differences between the Sonic Adventure on the game on the Dreamcast, the first released, and Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube, other than graphics, or maybe a little bit in the cutscenes. Again, mostly graphic based. And ding, first one, because they actually have a sec. They have it as its own page. They add the first one on there. There are not 7 bags, are there? No, there are. We had a bag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a smaller 6 bag. And at least in my copy of the set, this one has the older style, whereas all the other ones have the newer style. You know, the having the stripe and a number on it. So that's interesting. I know it gets here and there. Do you have many Sega systems now? There was a time when I had the Sega Pods, which isn't technically a system, but it was a video game like, I guess more of a toy than a video game, which you might remember from the Gaming Historian. He did a whole video about that. I was inspired to get it and try it out myself, and I was like, yeah, no. It sounded interesting at first, but it was not something I needed long term. I have 2 Sega Picos, and that's it. I don't think I own any other Sega hardware. Not that I don't want them. I would love to have a Genesis because it's got lots of good stuff on it. I'm a little here and there if I couldn't get a Genesis and all the cartridges that I want for it, because that could be either a lot of space or a lot of money or whatever. I don't know if it would be any better getting the At Games plug and play, which can hold cartridges, even though it's a downgrade for some of the quality when they're inserted, and the fact that the At Games one has games built into it. There's the Sega Genesis mini console, which I don't have. I've thought about for a couple of times, but did not pick it up. I think it's... I have played a Genesis, actually a couple of years ago. I was visiting a friend, and yeah, the pods. Interesting take of Simon Says, but yeah, it's not like, oh, I highly recommend it or anything. It could be very finicky. Or at least the copy I had was. So I did play an authentic Genesis several years ago when visiting one of my friends from college. We played Sonic Spinball. I don't remember the exact order of what we played, but I do remember these games. We played Sonic Spinball, which I had already known for some time, again, through the PC, through the Mega Collection. It's just about the controller itself that I need to adjust to. We played Alien 3, or Aliens 3? I don't remember if it has a plural at the end of it, but Alien 3. Which, funny enough, I've never watched an Alien movie all the way through, so I just did not know the context of this. I know that Alien 3 as a film is less liked than 1 and 2, but as a game, it felt fine. It's basically a big maze for most of the levels that you're trying to rescue captives. So you're trying to get away from xenomorphs. It's got an awesome music. I love the music on it. That's one thing I can definitely say is I love the soundtracks for Genesis games. The sound chips that they use are incredible. Only sometimes can I say that the Super Nintendo does them better, in my opinion. So, I also played Batman and Robin on the Sega Genesis at that time. So I knew how frustrating those controls were, but it was more of the experience of it than the enjoyment of going through it. I did not play the entirety of each of those games, um, to my dismay, but it's fine. Yeah, Sonic Spinball. It exists. It's it sounds like a good concept, and it's something that kind of makes sense when you think about the level structure of a lot of Sonic games. You know, if he's running fast, if he's in a ball shape, then a lot of the world kind of works like a Rube Goldberg contraption or some kind of big marble maze for him to gain momentum through. So the idea of a pinball game with Sonic doesn't sound bad until you do what Sonic Spinball did. Don't even get me started on the options music. That is okay. That for what I've praised about Genesis having like really good sound quality, that that is the worst. Look up this if you've never heard it. R.I.P. your ears, even without headphones. It's atrocious. That's just that's just bad on composition. I get that they're trying to go for like a really hard electric guitar. That's the best I can get out of it. But it just sounds like an angry horde of bees in your eardrums. Melodically, infesting your eardrums. It is so clangy. It is so jarring. I find that song every so often by accident, which yes does happen, especially when I have like large playlists of music from video games and things, and I just forget that one's in there. It's like, why do I still have this here? Am I allowed to delete this? The rest of the soundtrack sounds better for Sonic CD. It's not perfect, but it's better. I'd say the boss theme is also is like second. That's like rainy, um, but not all the way through like the options music. Whew. Okay. If I need to adjust the camera, let me know because I know that I'm out of frame building up this part right now. But it's a lot of one by ones. Like you want you want to try to build the set from home, you're gonna need a lot of one by ones. That's incredible. But no, I highly agree with how you describe the music. It is absolutely that. It didn't, even though it didn't show up. I totally understand. I have to listen to. Oh yeah, Pictionary NES is surprise. That is one of those tracks. It's like it didn't have to be that good, and yet somebody said, "I'm gonna crack my knuckles and compose the best thing with this technology I can for Pictionary." Didn't have to be for an action game. Didn't have to be for a mech game. It had to be for Pictionary. Um, Another one that's really good like that because I love looking at video game music. I love music in general, but especially I love seeing what video game music can be over time. Monty, I think it's Monty on the Run for the Commodore 64. Incredible theme, incredible theme, and the follow up game to it also has a really good theme to it too. But it's not under the same name. It's not Monty on the Run 2. It's like a completely different name. I always forget what it's called, but that one's good. Him, it was just Pictionary. Yeah, exactly. Buddy, you didn't have to go that hard. A couple games have that, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. How much they push the hardware, how much they push the ability to make those sounds happen. So yeah, if I dare to play Sonic Spinball again, obviously not going to the options menu, which is a good thing because I don't know how many times I have to change options, and with that ear grating music, I don't want to. Um, but with what was I gonna say? But as for the rest of the game, I've only gotten up to the lava powerhouse. I don't think I got to the machine level. So we're talking like third level or so. I think I've only gotten to the second level then, which is a bit of a bummer. But it's not comfortable. It's not easy to move with that because and it's weird because they have tried to make Sonic with pinball several times afterwards. I've never heard them as being like amazing, but I've also never heard that they were terrible either. Um, there is Sonic in pinball in Sonic Adventure, and that I'd say is marginally better because you don't have that like cross between pinball and platforming that Sonic Spinball tries to do. I guess also when you get a game over, that's also your grading, but eh, you know, it's the kind of thing that's like maybe you don't want that to happen all the time. So do better, get good, and you won't have to hear this kind of sound. I think oh, there it is. There's the tile. Yeah. So, I have not completed everything in Sonic Mania or Sonic Mega Plus. That's the one I'm thinking of. Which I know that there's like a handful of games that they give you right off the bat, and then there's a whole bunch you can unlock. I do have Sonic Gems collection, which is pretty cool, mostly for the aspect of playing Sonic CD on a GameCube, like authentically and naturally, um, more than anything else. But I've explored the other games. Sonic the Fighters was interesting as just again just trying a different concept. Um, Nothing I could really rag on or nothing I could really praise either. It exists. It's there. Um, I don't think I beat Sonic Generations. I've played a lot of it. I don't remember if I beat the whole thing. Funny enough, I should probably get back to that. Sonic 06. Can we move on to that? Is it time? Is it time we talk about Sonic 06 yet? Um, because boy howdy, I know that infamously Sonic 06 is like one of the worst, most rushed games ever made. Just all over the place, unpolished, buggy. It's bad. Like, it should not have been released that way. And this was in a time before we had a lot of video game patchwork, in which, yeah, you could update that and not make a complete pile of poopy. But that didn't. I've played it, but not enough to get the full experience of that drudgery. Yeah. One part of me wants to, but another part of me says I'm not a masochist. I can do better than that. Something that just doesn't seem worthwhile. I think the footage that I've seen online speaks for itself. Like, okay, I do not have to live this um, to understand how bad this is. But I don't know. I'd be curious about it from one time or another to pick it up again, to play more of it, and see it, fully unveil itself. It's gonna be one of those like morbid curiosities. It's like, do I open the Pandora's box? Do I play the Jumanji game? And then once I do, I'm like, oh, what have I done? I can never unsee that. It'd be awful. Sonic Drift exists, and I have not played anything newer racing wise for Sonic. I know that there's like Sega All Stars Transformed, Sega All Stars. Um, there's Sonic Team Racing. I've been curious about Sonic Team Racing at minimum, but I still haven't picked it up or really like given it a go. Um, Not because I heard it was bad or anything, but I'm just trying to understand the team mechanic of it. Like that you're racing with other people that are also on your team. Okay. All right, Ben. Have a good one. I will I'll talk to you later then. And, I'm just trying to understand the team concept of it because I know it's not double dash. It would be amazing if they did a double dash style for it, but it doesn't seem like it. I do know that they had a double pack with Sonic Mania around the holidays last year, where you could get Sonic Mania for the Switch and Sonic Team Racing on the same cartridge. Not even in like a 2 pack of cartridges. It's the same thing that reads as you put it into the Switch. Like that's kind of cool. That's a different idea. And I think it's because it's some cartridges for games hold more storage than others. That's basically how they can make that happen. So it's like, oh, just dump it on here, and you could dump another one on there too. There we go. We got the bridge going up here. Samson, welcome to the stream, buddy. We're only in bag 2, but we're still keeping on, keeping on. Keep on, keeping on, however the phrase is. Um, I'm literally just talking to fill the air, so you don't just hear a ceiling fan or nothingness. But if you want to bring up something in the conversation, please, by all means. I do not mind if it gets derailed and move to something else. This is the idea set. We're building it, baby. I got it today in the mail, which I'm surprised how quickly. I thought it was going to be over a week for it to arrive, especially considering they have a lot of orders that were going through as soon as January 1st hit, from all different places and all different amounts or volumes of stuff. I would not have been surprised if this took a week to arrive. Um, but depending on how anxious I would have been to build it, I basically ordered it online just to save it, just to be sure that yes, I can actually I have this thing available, so it doesn't sell out or whatever. But if I really, really wanted to build it right away, and it would have taken over a week or whatever to arrive or something, I would have attempted to go to the Lego store. This is $70 retail, which is a fair price, I believe, for something of this size. It's a larger playset. If you're talking about price per piece, this is over 1,000 pieces. It's 11.25 according to the box. I don't know how. I don't always keep track of the aftermarket. I don't know if the previous Sonic really sells greatly over 70 or even the original 30 on his own. But this is a different Sonic, so you know. at least you got something else to look forward to on there. For some reason, when you typed in how much, I read it in my mind as in Team Fortress 2, one of the cutscenes, or one of the animations, I should say, about teleport, about using the teleporter, and I think it's a soldier that says, "Question: I've teleported bread." Engineer's like, "How much?" And the soldier replies, "I've done nothing but teleport bread for 3 days." Yeah, exactly. I I will say, as much of a Sonic fan, as much as a Sonic fan I am, I kind of wish I got the one of the Sonic Mania collection kits that they had with, I think it was a Switch, Xbox One, or PS4. It was like its own special box. It had a little commemorative piece with Sonic standing over a Genesis. This is actually a really cool technique. That's why I have to share it here. Like, simple parts. These parts already existed for a while, but I wouldn't have thought about building like that before. So, yeah, points to that. It's a little disappointing that the bridge doesn't actually move, like, when Sonic usually runs across it. It would have a little swooping motion to it, but it's fine. Still looks great. But yeah. Oops, wrong side. One thing I gotta try one of these days is the Sonic Adventure 2 randomizer. I've seen this as a thing for several games that, like all over the place, that they would modify items, sound effects, character speeches, and other features like that, especially things that would be abundant throughout the game. People have modified those so that they appear at random points outside of the normal way they're supposed to appear. So, like, you could have a level played with a different level's soundtrack, for example, or you have a text box that reads something different than it would appear in another level, or something like that. Um, I've watched video of it, and it's fantastic, and I would love to try it myself at some point. I would love to try it live or have some recording of it, because if it's as random as I think it is, like every time it's different, um, that sounds like it would just be a joy to capture and catch me off guard, especially for something like Sonic Adventure 2 that I'm already very familiar with, that I've already known about um, for a long time and know almost inside and out how the game works, how it's supposed to run, how it's supposed to look, things like that. I'm not an expert on it per se, but I am very, very, very familiar with it. Barnacle Forever 12, welcome to the stream, buddy. How you doing? We're building the Sonic Ideas set that finally arrived in the mail. And I'm on bag 2, about to jump over to bag 3. So we got this link up here. It's an interesting idea that they have axles to use instead of pins. Because I would think a lot of times they would have used pins. But this is very firm. Like, more firm than the pins would be. So I like it so far. I think it's been pretty neat. We got our second emerald added there. I definitely like a couple building techniques, like the bridge. That was a cool design there. A lot of one by ones. Like, if you're used to the Lego art sets or the mosaic sets that use tons and tons of one by ones, even things like dots, or to a lesser extent video, they do that as well. Lots of one by ones thrown in. So that's probably a big part of the piece count. Because they're not, a Lego brick is not perfectly square. It's or not perfectly cubed. So using 2 plates instead of 3 makes it a bit more squared, and also means you could fit a lot more of those squares, especially for the groundwork, in a smaller space. So fair enough that they did it that way. I remember as a kid, I wanted Lego Sonic to be a thing real bad. I grew up with having Lego Knights Kingdom sets, and like accumulating the main knights in the sets. I want to say like some of the smaller sets helped with that. Um, there's some that's like, okay, you have one knight in here, but he's also, it's kind of like Ninjago nowadays. Let's put it that way. You have some sets that have really expensive minifig, or you have a minifig that's in a really expensive set, or a polybag, or some drastic range in between. Um, and then you have some that are just available in almost every set. And then you have this is an interesting example. You have one or two sets from Knights Kingdom 2 where they don't give armor to the knights, but instead print it on the torsos. I have no idea why they did that. And like not even like a late wave kind of thing. I'm talking like first wave of sets they did that. I don't know why. Raskus, for some reason, in the Citadel of Orland set. I got that for my birthday one year. And it was fantastic as a castle model. I never had a castle that large up to that point as a single set. For some reason, in that set, they do not include they do not include an extra like armor piece to put over his neck and torso. They just print the emblem on his torso. And I don't know if there are any copies of the set that do have it with that. I don't know if it varies, but from what I've seen in inventories, that's how it's supposed to be, which is weird. Wish they made something like this for Mario. Absolutely, I agree. I've had an image in my head about a direct-to-consumer style large Peach's castle, like almost to the specs of what the Disney castle is. Like that could easily work, and you could have Super Mario 64 referenced all throughout there. You could have secret slides. You could have paintings that open up to a different world with literally just a platform or something representing it, or a character with it, something like that. You could have a basement layer or something, or some area that kind of folds out so it looks like a bridge. That's one thing I liked from, I don't own the set. I never did. There was a Fortress set from Ninjago movie that did that, and there was a really cool feature. Something I kind of want them to do more often for play sets, especially large ones. And they've done this with the Death Star Final Duel set as well. Both times, both recent editions. They would have a little bridge, kind of catwalk area that would fold out from the base, so you can make a larger scene out of it. But when it retracts, just the fact that it can retract and not, just disrupt anything. It's like, okay, if you need to store it in a smaller area, you can. That's cool. That's very good. I would love if they did something like that in general. But yeah, we'll still have to wait and see if we'll get Mario sets with minifigures. I've been hoping that since day one. I still will compare of what Lego did with Super Mario versus Connects because of that. Because Connects, right out the gate, gave you minifigures, gave you a whole collectible minifigure line. It gave you some of the main characters, Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi, at minimum. They had a polybag. Like, it was literally just a blind bag that showed just that figure on it. So you knew you were going to get that figure. And that's how I got them. Or at least one or two of them were like that, at least in my area. So I was like, okay, no brainer. I get exactly what I'm looking for. The blind bag series for Connects was actually really cool because you won't get unique figures for every single series, like completely unique. But if you missed one earlier, it gave you a redemption. It gave you a second chance to find it again. Or it just made it easier to complete them if you've already been running with it long term. It's like, okay, I don't have to buy 6 figures in here. I just have to buy 3 of them because some of these have already been on other, series before. No problem. But they did make a couple new ones every so often, and there are some that I did not get late in the game that I regret. And not like I joined late in the game. I just mean I fell off early while they were still going at it, and I'm like, I probably should have got those because they were actually cool. Having Luigi with the Poltergust as a minifig is great, and I sorely missed that one. That particularly I remember. I did. I made it a point to get Waluigi. I had to. Waluigi as a minifigure, bar none, and it was one of the few ways you could get him in the Connect sets like that, as opposed to the Mario Kart sets, which had a fully customizable, buildable tracks, obstacles you could use along the sides of the tracks, like piranha plants, crabs. You could have penguins, a whole bunch of stuff, depending on the set. And even more than that, the tracks would give you options for different carts, different bikes. The bikes, they never motorized, but it was still cool that they were represented in a buildable form. You had motorized carts that were pullback motor or they were battery operated. So, if you didn't have a large track, you could work with a pullback motor a bit, but it may not last long, as opposed to a battery operated motor where you could run it for a while. Like if you wanted to make that feeling of running several laps, you can do that easily. It's just, a little more pocket change. But good pocket change. Should use that as like a rating system. Is it good pocket change? Or is it worth the pocket change to go forward? I don't know. And you had play sets. They had Mario themed play sets based on all different games. There were 3 packs of minifigures where it's like you knew 2 of the figures that were in the packaging itself, and then the third one was a mystery, which was literally the same as every copy of the set, but they just didn't tell you explicitly out front. So it just felt cool to get one that you didn't know about, but still very useful, very playable. So yeah, I don't know if I've ragged on enough about the Connects Mario. Now we jump over to the Lego Mario, where they've basically focused on one building aspect. That it's a buildable board game like experience, which is fine. I do not inherently hate that system. I think it has a good premise to it. It just doesn't have to be every set. Like I get they want to have as many options to customize as possible. It is definitely going to gear towards younger players better. It has a Super Mario Maker feel to it where you customize your own levels. I know this because I've actually babysat during the release of those sets, and I've played with it with kids who enjoyed Lego and Mario, and they enjoyed it that way, but only for so long. And I already had the Connects figures. I brought them along with me, and at some point, they wanted those figures. They wanted more of that, that style. They want to have figures that are actually, playable instead of just being very cubic. That you're not just reliant on. Well, I mean, what was also disappointing was that these were 2 brothers, so you couldn't play multiplayer with them exactly unless you had 2 copies of Mario. So the fact that they started it out with Mario only and not just giving a Luigi variant as well, I mean, in hindsight, it expands the lifespan of the theme by having another playable character. But from the start, it felt like, well, I'm only going to play with this one thing at a time, or I need to buy 2 Marios, which you don't really need 2 Marios. I don't believe you need, like, 1 is fine, but I almost wound up with 3 at one point. I did not. I mean, I don't have 3 now. I certainly don't need them now. Yeah. I like it's got a good premise to it, but to be the sole thing that the license does, and I know I know some people would be like, "Oh, that's not the only thing that they do. They have the Nintendo Entertainment System, and they have the question mark block now." Yeah, but those are meant to be collector displayable pieces. They're not, you know, they have some playability here and there, but not as much as the standard sets. The ones that, if you're shopping for a kid, they're more likely to find in store. You're not going to be able to go to a Target and find the question mark block as often as you're going to find Luigi pack or something. That being said, I am excited about this new wave of the sets. I do like that there's Luigi's Mansion sets because Luigi's Mansion I wholeheartedly enjoy. The first game, I there was a while I was trying to get the third game because I didn't have a DS and didn't play Dark Moon. There was a while that I was trying to get the third game and it was sold out everywhere. And now I think it might be available, but I'll just leave it as a birthday item. So we'll see how that goes. But for the meanwhile, it's like, okay, I want to see what more these sets can offer than the set started with. That's the thing I feel like it needs to up the ante of what you can do with all these play sets because the formula is going to get old at some point. I mean, even with the whole first wave that I got, you can only do so much with it. You can't even use all of them in the same, excuse me. You can't use all of them in the same level because of a timer. It's not There's not enough time, or you have to articulate them in a certain way to make that happen. Lego Mario is weird. They do exactly what you wouldn't think they would do. Yeah, because many other video game licenses they've done up to this point. You know, yeah, let's make them minifigures. Like, no question. Minecraft, they started with them being literally the same thing, just having a bunch of 1x1s. But didn't take long for them to transition to minifigures. Oh, we got stickers now. Excuse me, Amiibo Sonic. And especially something so big like Mario, it would seem like, oh yeah, yeah, we'll do that. We'll make them. Make them that way. Okay, so one thing I want to say right now, if you're building this set and you never built it before, I noticed that for the stickers, the checker patterns are different from one side to the next. So it's best to just follow with the numbers for which ones to use on what pieces. If you're a stickler for, following the instructions accuracy or just getting the checker pattern as correctly as you can, that's what I've found in here. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize until now that they are a bit different. So we're actually starting to build the loop, in case you couldn't tell. I wish I had brought some water with me. My throat's already starting to get dry. All right. I think the majority of the stickers are going to be used in here. I did try building a Sonic loop like this in minifig form many years ago, shortly after the Sonic minifigure was released in Dimensions. But I think I built it much larger than this just to try to get the curvature right, or to even have Sonic standing on any one point of it. Like the whole ground was similarly like 4 wide, but each part of the loop was the 4 wide, not this ground. I mean the ground running up. Um, each way. And it was using a lot of ankle plates, a lot of hinge plates to try to make that curvature, and then having like a plate or two shift over to make it actually loop. So yeah, the middle part was kind of iffy that way. And I get what they're going for in this one. I think, and I've thought about this since the images first appeared. I think they could have made this a little bit better. Like this is still really good, you know. You still get the loop structure there. That's fine. And there are still points that you could actually add Sonic running through it in a way. But I think it would have been a little bit better if right here in the center and possibly something along the top, right here in the center on each side, that they added in 1x2 snot brick, so you could actually have studs facing inward. Maybe move the loop back a stud or two on each side of the half loop, and then something across the top of it that would have studs facing downward. So then you could have Sonic from the start to halfway or to quarter of the way, halfway, quarter, or 3/4, and then at the bottom again. Like, you know, even an opposing way, that would be very cool. It might even work better for a stop motion kind of way to try to get that looping motion of it. But yeah, that's not what we have here. All right, here we go. This is going to be interesting. So these are 3 stickers that go around the outside of this wall piece. So skinny ones first. So number 13. Trying to make it as flush as I can. Number 15. There we go. That looks pretty nice. Like if you take your time and place in the stickers, you'll get some sweet work on the side of it. And number 16. Good. And good. That goes on the outside. Nice, nice. Yeah. I think. Wait. Did I add on the wrong one? Oh, okay. So I didn't add the. Okay. I only have to rewind a little bit. It's gonna happen eventually, but this is not a bad point for it to happen. So the angled pieces that I put on earlier, I put on the wrong side because on the instructions I see that the stickers face the other way. So I'm like, oh, I gotta fix that. So I was wondering why some of them didn't line up right. Stickers were applied just fine. It's just a matter of how they worked alongside of this. Yeah, that looks a lot better. That's fine. Technically, the other arches weren't supposed to go on yet, so I'm going to leave them out. All right. My hope is that for future Sonic Lego collaboration, that they could make they don't have to make entire levels. Like, if this is all that they make of Green Hill Zone, and they make some other zone, that would be fine. I would have no problems with that. But I would like if they had little representations of other zones, like, say, Scrap Brain Zone, or um, or Hydrosity Zone from Sonic 3. You know, maybe like just like in the Mario way from different games. But I think one of the biggest motivations, and I don't know if this is like a hack or anything. I don't know if this is intentional. Um, I think one of the biggest motivations for leaning into this ideas project is its anniversary value. That this is released at the time of an anniversary of the license, that you know will entice more people to buy it than if it was regular. Um, with that being said, Mario doesn't really follow that suit. They didn't release that after Mario's anniversary. It wasn't marked as an anniversary theme or anything. So I don't know. But I have noticed that as a pattern for a lot of Lego Ideas projects based on licenses. Even something like Ghostbusters was in the same vein of, celebrating its anniversary with this Lego Ghostbusters Ecto 1. There are a bunch of examples of that. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse's Brickheads is another good example. Even though it's not ideas based, it is still a more unique Lego project, more unique Lego product, not project. Um, but it's not like they couldn't just have the idea sitting for a while, incubating, and then decide to make it, right? Like that. Like if there was an ideas project like that, that could still work, couldn't it? Like even ones that were rejected in previous rounds, wouldn't that work at some time later? That's like, okay, this is still a decent project um, that we can bring back, into consideration, especially for a timely anniversary or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. Whoops. It's a plate layer too short. Could have made anniversary sets for Bionicle. Oh wait. Well. I mean, we know that they're doing that for Lego's 90th anniversary, having some um, iconic model based on a existing Lego theme, or not existing, of a theme from the Lego history. But yeah, I mean, obviously with something like Ninjago, they've done that in great stride. They had a whole year's worth of sets aside from having legacy sets in general, which is fine. I mean, Star Wars has done that for ages. That they have reprints or rebuilds of models that stood out to the theme. That looks great. I don't know if it's coming through as clearly on camera, but this looks great, especially with the stickers. I thought they might have been prints, but I don't know if they have that ability to print on three sides of a wall piece like that, and voted for stickers instead. Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with that. I cast my lot, but honestly, I'm gonna be happy with whatever it is because I still like Castle. I'm very open minded for other Lego themes in general. I'm not I'm not some elitist that's like, oh, I'm all into this and not anything else. And I don't believe that a majority of people are. Where in the? Oh, I see. where it's supposed to go. But does it go there? I guess? Yeah. It's not very clear from this instruction. That's like you build some of these plates together, and then they tell you to just kind of jam them up there, but they don't have like a good angle to show that from the paper instructions. I'm sure digitally it would make a lot more sense because you could literally flip the model around. I know this from experience with the Lego Super Mario sets that are almost entirely digital instructions. Using the app and being able to flip over the model, which did help. I think the general consensus I have with traditional like physical media versus digital, my general thing is it's good to offer both, but it's it's kind of it's kind of rough if you only offer digital when there's still room for physical to exist and still reason for it to exist. Okay, so we got the third bag done, third emerald there. And that's looking pretty good. I like the little sloping by plates here on each side of the bridge, leading each way. Um, I'm not too worried about the fact that, this is centered and then it has to like scoot over to get to the loop. As a 3D thing here, it's fine. It would take a lot more pieces and structure to widen the loop or make it in a way that would kind of it's interesting because it's a loop. You enter from one side and you go out the other. So it's going to be offset no matter which way it rolls, which way it goes. So we're like halfway through now. I also forgot I posted it on Twitter. I posted it on YouTube. I did not post it on Instagram. So let's do that. I'll be back in just a moment. I still find it odd that for Sonic, in both Lego Dimensions and here, they are using the life preservers as rings, as opposed to using like the Lord of the Rings ring or the Shang-Chi ring, which is the same thing. And I was surprised even for Shang-Chi that they brought it back because I was like, oh, it's been a couple of years. So I'd probably just retire it. And it's like a metallic gold kind of color to it. That shine isn't something they don't do on pieces that much anymore. And if they did bring it back, I would imagine it'd be pearl gold. And it's like, oh no, we brought it back exactly as before. What? Cool. But yeah, so that's the thing. Oops. I pressed the button the right way again. Gives me a moment to relax a little bit because I've been leaning over for a bit. I need a bigger table, a taller table, really. I tried to make the seat smaller to accompany it, but it didn't work. I was like, all right. All right, well, let's keep it going. So this one we got another landform to build, and a badnik. Again, I do not remember the specific names of each enemy. I just remember the general name of the fleet, army, whatever. I'm very excited for Sonic 2 in theaters. I had just seen Spider-Man No Way Home the night before, so honestly, for even though I haven't seen a lot of movies yet this year, that was a movie that carried over from last year. But I could still say that it's so far my favorite movie of 2022, and I count that as I saw it in 2022. Not that it released then. But I am looking forward to Sonic and seeing how that one compares. I have seen little trickles here and there through Twitter, kind of leaking moments or footage, or not footage, but leaking production about the movie. So I'm like, yeah, this has got a lot of good potential to it. All right, so new piece to me. I don't know if it's been available on anything else yet. A 1x1 with a Technic axle hole. That's cool. I have not. I didn't know that existed. I could easily see something like this being its own polybag or something. And so far from what I'm building of the other enemy in here, that could be a polybag too. Now that I see now that I realize it, I don't think they have a fish in here. No, they do not make a fish in this set. Huh. Yeah, that's something I could have included. Again, could be its own thing if they expanded this further. I mean, it's not the first time that a Lego set from Ideas became its own full theme under the same license, like Minecraft, or to extent Ghostbusters. I can't say a full theme because it's only a set every so often, but still, they kept the license going. Like, okay, we could still make something else out of this. I understand in a set like this, it would be too much to try to make um, the boss level of Green Hill Zone to try to get like the giant swinging ball back and forth. Not only would it be a lot of pieces, it would just be hard to weigh it um, compared to the ship itself. You'd have to make a whole other stand to accommodate that, just so it doesn't, fall on its face. And I would know because I've tried to make something that was, flying in the air and then carrying something, um, and it's not easy making the base, for that, especially transparent, like trans clear or whatever. I talked about music in some of the Sonic games before, but I think in general, that's one of the things that draws me and retains me to the Sonic franchise is good music. A lot of great compositions, a lot of great themes for different levels or from different games um, work really nicely. So even if I don't like a certain level or a certain Sonic game, I'm probably gonna like the music. There's still that to look forward to. All right, time to add some faces. Try to get this right. Yeah. All right. Cool. There we got the Ladybug Face one. The more doofy looking face on it. I'm just going to carefully remove that tile now so I can add the other one on and make the other face, which is a good thing that they offer two faces. I would have been okay if it just had one, but it's like a little perk. For me, it's like a little bonus. Um, and again, if you could build more of these, whether or not you get more sticker sheets, just on the one set, if you could build this out of, pretty relatively basic parts, you could have two of these instantly. Excuse me. Move them up there. Face over there. Sticker sheet back there. And this part I didn't even know was going to be a play function until um, they did like the release trailer for the set. And I'm looking forward to how this comes together, how it's actually built. They have a spring that's built into this, but it actually can launch in the air. Imagine at some point they made a Genesis console like they did for the NES. That would be cool. All right. Got a lot. I'm actually curious at the end of this how many plates it took. No, one by one plates in reddish brown and nougat or whatever this color is called officially, um, in the whole set. Any other exciting 2022 sets? So I have not purchased any other ones from 2022 yet. I'm trying to remember what else I'm kind of excited for. There's other ones I've looked into with some interest. There's still some from 2021 I haven't picked up yet that I'd like to if they're available. The camper van, that's a definite for me from 21 because I'm a sucker for Lego camper vans and I definitely want to see what this one holds, what design it changes up from other ones. Plus, I could always use another camper van for campground scenery in some of my sets or some of my displays, layouts, whatever's. Yeah, so this is interesting. I don't know why they did this. That throughout the whole instructions, they have these pieces as axle holes, and then at the very end of this whole layout, it's pinholes. I don't know what the plan is there, um, because now it's like stick with one or the other. Because now you can't use that particular land piece on any other part of the layout unless you actually swap pieces around. And by that point, you know, almost defeats the purpose. Well, maybe not completely defeat the purpose, but yeah. I have to look through again. I'm excited for more Monkey Kid in general. Um, there are some Monkey Kid sets I haven't gotten already that I'm interested in from last year. Um, I was a little iffy about the Space Wave coming up this year, but after some discussion, I've grown to kind of like some things about it. Um, but I still have to watch a TV show and get a better context for it. Um, I cannot remember what else is happening this year. There's the whole wildlife rescue stuff that came out last year. I am a sucker for the summer waves of Lego sets because Lego City in the summer waves often has a bunch of cool sets that break away from the norm that are only like no more than like 5 or 6 of them, even with polybags. And even though they're more expensive, offer a lot of cool stuff to them. So yeah, this one especially because there's a lot of new animal molds, which also encourage more um, more features, more things you can do with animals in Lego, and updating some like the elephant, lions. That's very cool. I want to address this piece for half a second because those who are watching, I know you'll like that. Um, anyways, what else? What I don't remember what else is happening for 22. I could pop over to the phone for a second if you don't mind. I can scroll through and find out. I did find some in Walmart the other day, but they didn't have a lot of them. And there are still gaps in the shelves from what they had before for um, from last year, which I'm guessing by this point, they got new stock, and they're probably not going to order much more of the old stock. But they also haven't clearanced them yet, so I don't know what that Walmart be up to. I made myself a commitment that if I have to get one set New Year's Day, as soon as the ball drops, as soon as it's available online, it's going to be this one. Like, this is the Sonic Ideas set was a day one purchase for me, and that doesn't happen very often. Oh, I see how this. Okay, it's a little more basic than I thought it would be, but it still works. They have a little plunger in the back that taps that up, and then there's going to be like an axle or something in the middle that pushes upward from there. Kind of demonstrate it there. So it'll be sitting on there, and it'll push upward to get that spring action to it. We got Super Mario to thank for the 3x3 round tile. That's interesting on its own. That exists. Yeah. Let me throw up on the side of the screen, or not side of the screen, on the side of my table. What is happening in 2022? Oh yeah, they revealed a couple new Harry Potter sets earlier today. I saw a little bit of it on Instagram. There's a Hogwarts Moments book series, another series of those books coming out, where it's like a large buildable book that opens up into a room at Hogwarts or a pivotal scene from the films or the books. Um, I'm not really jazzed about those. I'm not really as interested. Um, there are some good parts and figures in there, to be fair, but I'm not interested to go into everything about it. And they have a set called the Hogwarts Hospital Wing. So another one of those add-ons to Hogwarts itself if you want to expand the castle layout. But this one having some form of infirmary, um, or not infirmary, just the hospital, medic room. But there's a baby skull in it, and that's the thing that I first encountered about it on Instagram. Was like, oh, there's a baby skull in here. Like literally the Lego baby that they've made and seldom used, and they really need to use it more because I think it's got potential. You could easily make more stuff or insert it into other stuff um, with that and different varieties. Um, but then they used the head and made it in white and look like a skull face. So I don't know the exact context of that off the top of my head from Harry Potter. That's just creepy. And it's kind of fun how creepy it is for me. I'm not saying I'm into the creepy stuff, but I'm just saying the fact that Lego, a very, you know, child centric and friendly brand, um, will go into dark matter like that every so often. I mean, I'm sure that it's accurate to whatever scene they need it for, but it's also not a detail they had to put in there. Like you could have still built the set without it. It looks like it's a piece I'm looking for. I don't know where it went. Oh, it's under the instructions. Getting away from me. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna scroll over, see if we can find 2022, and let that roll up. Just in general, not just the Harry Potter sets. Come on, come on. There we go. So I could probably bring that up a little bit more on the at the end of the stream, um, for any specifics, or like not specifics of looking over a bunch of them. We could do that as a thing, or we could just literally cue the stream off and then open it again as just being about that. I don't know from other people if there's anything exciting other than like the modular, because there's the hotel that people are into because it's, new year, new modular. They always add another one onto it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've built part of the Parisian restaurant modular that I got from Kevin Hinkle, um, and then, well, that's the one that he had partially started building, and then halted at a point, and I'm gonna finish what he started. It is. Welcome, Richie. Artur World. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, we are on bag four of the Sonic Ideas project set, and so far so good. We're just getting the spring done, which I don't. That's a cool way to do it. First time on Twitch in ages. Yeah, fair enough. All good. Yeah, this is a simple mechanism, kind of what I expected. So you can see how it looks in the back. You push down on the red piece, pushes up an axle, and then gives you a little spring kind of motion to it. So let me just, I'll add Sonic on there when I finish the bag. But yeah, that's okay. I don't go on Twitch all day every day either. I I follow people through here, and I try to make their streams when I'm available to, but there are many times where I just can't. I know that they're going to have a stream, or I see about they set up a schedule or something in advance. It's like, nope, not going to be there. Can't make it. Only one or twice have I just barely made an exception for it, and it worked out okay. 2022 is going all right so far. It's still kind of a slow start for me, but yeah, there's already things happening, things changing. Just making the best of it. How's yours 2022 going? I do like they use this spike ball piece for the flower head, because they do basically look like that in the game. I would have thought that it would be okay using like the star piece for something similar, or even like the gear pieces, the plate gear pieces that they make. But this works fine. It gets the point across, and it works for the style of building around it. All right, so we're gonna move that all over here with the Technic pins. Things around me are kind of closing again. Yeah, fair enough. Hopefully finally goes away sometime this year. I hope so too. So this is the whole layout. This is the whole width of the thing, like end to end. That's pretty good. pretty solid there. For some reason, I have two pieces. Oh, two pieces on here I didn't add in the right spot. Sorry about that. So I saw them at the end and I was like, why is that like that? So just a little more curvature to this bug. And got another emerald to add up here. And number 4. So I have to imagine that there's one of these, or maybe even, yeah, one of these bags is going to have 2 in it. If they're going with that idea of adding another one per bag. So I don't know why they didn't have 7 bags or something. But have a short bag or something, I don't know. Or the loop. That's probably the most piece involved thing so far, is the loop segment. I don't know. Move those extra pieces over here. And we're going to get Sonic right there. And I'm going to lift up the camera just a little bit so we can get that height out of it. So pardon me if there's a... I'm trying to get the angle here. It's a low table, sorry about that. But I'm just going to flip them there. It's a little awkward, at least for my hands, and I don't have large hands, but still have adult hands. It's a little awkward of trying to fit my finger back here to try to press it down, because I can't get there's not a lot of room to like really tap on it to get a lot of, you know, spring action, like trying to fly them up in the air. But I'm thinking maybe instead I could use a brick separator as that leverage. It's not too much better though. Again, just with that small space in there. So it's a minor gripe, but something I'll point out nonetheless. Just that little gap in there, almost 2 bricks high, to try to fit your finger in there and press on it. You know what I mean? All right, so let's bring it back down here. Bring this forward a bit more. Put Sonic back up on the stand for now. Don't know if you saw. And there we go. Perfect. He's sitting right in the middle of the loop there. The Sonic Amiibo from Nintendo. It's a little bit sad that they don't make those kinds of Amiibo as frequent as they used to, especially when there are still games that support it. But I also get that Amiibo in general have had a weird life cycle, that they either make too few or too many, and not a product that they can last on shelves forever. But if you stop in Five Below, I guarantee you will find Animal Crossing Amiibo that have been there for years. And I'm only half tempted to even go into them, because then I could at least say, hey, I scanned it in the games, and see you later, kind of thing. A lot of Amiibo I do not care to collect, so having one like this for Sonic is a little more important. Yeah, that's true. Toys to Life is a pretty dry subject by this point. And the fact that I'm surprised that Starlink existed. Like, the writing was already on the wall for Toys to Life as a genre up to that point. So the fact that they continued development and release of a game, maybe it just took forever to utilize it or whatever. But the fact that Starlink happened, it was just that, for me, it felt like it was at the wrong time. That it's something that was already passé, that nobody would be interested in, even at the merit of it being Star Fox related, even at something that You know, has like Nintendo exclusive stuff to it. It felt like it was too late, in my opinion. 1, 2, 3, then one in the middle there. Oh, so you can separate these, but they have like this whole banner along the bottom of it, just for stability. Because on the back of the box, they don't really mention how you could rearrange the pieces to it. I guess it's intended to always be like that, but Lego being Lego, you could still move things around, no problem. You know, you could always just take pieces apart and configure it to something else. Another sticker. So we're working more from this sticker sheet this time and getting the lives added in. All right, solid. A good spot for the sticker there. We move to the other side and fill this in. Because I thought they were going to have the borders or that like banner along the bottom of it just line up for each section. And it's like, oh well, you know, you could separate these and move them around, and it won't really affect it as much. Maybe the life thing will change, but yeah, no, they're like, no, you keep it as the whole thing. It's just extra stability, I guess. I don't remember if the Lego product page or advertisements showed that you could swap them around. I feel like they did, but I could be wrong. So that sticker that I talked about earlier, there's a sticker on here that goes over, I want to say, 3 studs worth of tile. That's basically like high scores. It's on the back of the whole structure, like right behind the flower spring area that we built earlier. And it goes on a 1x8 plate, 1x8 tile, mind you. The only Easter egg that I figured out from it was that the player with the third most score on it, I don't know how well it's going to show up here, but the third most score on there is 1991, which is the release year of Sonic. So that's fine. That's cool. I I can't make out from the rest of it offhand if there's any references, if there's any Easter eggs or something like that. Um, I don't know if there's any of them that are initials of people who worked on the project. Oh wait, duh, dumb. I read it in the book earlier. Um, the first one's initials VIV, Viv, as in is it Toaster Girl? It's Toaster something on Facebook. On no, not Facebook, Twitter. Um, the person who started the project. Yep, Toaster Girl. So that's cool. That's very cool, actually, that they acknowledge the fan who postulated this project. Yeah, even this part about the rings, I thought that would just carry over with whatever structure it's on. But again, it's Lego. If you wanted to modify this thing, if you wanted to add more rings in different spots, you certainly can. That's an easy thing to do. do wonder after this how easy it would be using other, if other parts are available from other sets, um, to expand upon it. You know, to try to make a whole nother section or other, particular things in the level. Okay, so the part we're building now is the checkpoint, which is cool. It's a cool thing that they added in here. Again, standard fare for the game, but like, if I was making this from scratch, it's not something I would have thought of right away. So the fact that they included this is good. I give it points for that. I don't have a review score. I don't have a review score system. Oh, got my pieces. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a review score or anything or system of reviewing stuff. Um, it's very informal. It's about the enthusiasm I provide to it. But I will say that this is a good thing. This is a very good thing. I did not think would be in there, but it's nice that they have it. So, forward. Very simple assembly. There's a bar element in the very center of it. What? Wait. Okay. I thought I lost the screen for a moment. Okay. I'm going to move that forward again. I find this surprising that they finally include these in sets. Because this used to be the kind of piece that would only be in like a master builder's library, not the kind of thing um, widely distributed. But I like it. I like that it's here. It looked really good. I don't know how well I can show it from the camera. And I know I'm not, super duper YouTuber or Twitch streamer for camera quality or even narration or any other assets. But I can safely say this is really good. It looks fantastic putting it together. Oops, I think I put this on the wrong way. Yep, I did. Okay. Um, that was the middle ring, and now that's the okay. That's the bottom ring, and now this one's the top ring. Gotcha. I thought they were all stacking on top of each other, and I almost got them too close to call, too close together. So I have a big stem right here, so it's like the spring up to get to the rings. That's cool. That's good. See, Mario, you don't have to make it as a board game with electronics attached to it. You just gotta have some smart play features, and you'll get the idea across. Did you happen to have space for 50 Lego? I do. I have a filing cabinet where most of my Lego magazines are stored and organized. Um, Generally organized by year. And then I have another filing cabinet that's just about the instructions. So, yeah, that is a thing I can do. and I still keep space open for more in general because they still keep making them. Well, except for some of them. I had heard this either earlier today or yesterday. I forget when exactly. I think it was yesterday that Lego Club or Lego store calendars, which are normally printed and available in the Lego retailers, um, Lego brand retail, are no longer going to be a thing. And fair enough, the past year or two has been difficult for them to come up with in-store events, reasons for people to go to the store specifically for not only exclusive products but also a particular promotion. But also, like that's a difficult thing for them to make in this current climate. But also that uh, they're not even having them online. They're not even having, because for a while they were like, "Oh, we're just making digital ones," and I don't even know if they still made ones for stores. I do not remember seeing them in stores. Um, so I was like, "Okay, fine, have a digital copy of it," and also, it saves a bit of paper, which is always good. Um, Most people are going digital anyways, so it's easier to find that way. But now it's like, yeah, we're not doing anything. It's like giving a lot less reason to go to the stores, even if they did one event per month, or space it out a couple of weeks. I think that would be cool. I think that'd be fine. I liked when the Legoland Discovery Centers did the adult nights. So it encouraged people to pay regular admission. If they didn't have kids, they could still go to the Discovery Center. They check out what's available there, even though they can't ride a lot of stuff, but still explore it, have some party, have some building competitions. I went to a couple of them a while ago, and the problem that I had, for why I didn't continue going to them, was simply that they weren't all frequent, or kind of depended on where they were where they were where they were held. I'm trying to get rid of them, but I don't want to go to half price books because some are well used. That's like wait, half price books is a place you can go to. I don't know, but yeah, um, yeah, I understand about that. Okay, so right now we're building those. Um, I think in the games they're called monitors because they look like TV monitors. Um, but item boxes or whatever you want to call them, basically where you get your power ups in the game. So we're building that, which is very simple. This is the kind of thing that takes very common pieces to build, very easy to put together just by looking at it, um, and would be super duper easy to, if you have the right tiles, um, accumulate a bunch of them and make a whole bunch of options. And in this set, they give you 5, which is good right out the gate. But the same ones can be used over and over in certain levels, so you know, nothing wrong with having more multiples of them. Yeah, if you can't see a home for them, I will make a home for them. And if you need me to pay shipping, I will I will meet that. Because even aside from me just organizing them, I still go back through them, not only out of nostalgia, but also for curiosity. Like if there are some that have a certain article or a certain um, advertisement that I'm looking for, whether for videos or bizarre Lego, at least I know where to find them, and then I could, if they're in good enough quality, I can scan them, and I can use them in some other project, use them wherever I need to. Yeah, I am 100% on board for preserving them. I've bought them before. I've bought older club magazines I didn't have. Um, I've taken in ones from other people as well. So okay, so first one here, I recall correctly, this is supposed to be a shield, which I think was in Sonic 1. I keep thinking of the ones that are in like Sonic 3. Um, but I think this is the kind that's like you get one hit extra before you lose a life, so that's fine. Where do you normally get your video games? So I get my video games, if we're talking current video games, it kind of bounces back and forth between Walmart, Target, GameStop. It really depends on if someone has a good price on them or a certain offer available, or if it's just if it's just good stock of it. Um, if it's older video games, I go to a couple local video game stores. They're not. I mean, like they're chained in the way that there's not just one of the store with the name. There's multiple, but they're not like nationwide as far as I know. And I actually know of one that I used to go to many years ago. That's coming back soon, and I'm looking forward to it because I like this. I like the atmosphere that the retro video game stores have, being their own unique thing. That's run by fans for fans, basically. So I'm always happy to support those, even for new stuff. If if I have a reason to go there for old stuff, I try to support them. All right. So the next one we have here is how to run faster. It's like a faster shoe kind of power up. We got another one here that looks like invincibility for a limited time. We got one here for a one up, which honestly, I have the giant plush Sonic head next to me. If I could find a computer monitor big enough, that would be really funny to put it inside of it. It'd be like, yeah, I got a real version of this thing. I don't have to worry about dying. I got a second life here. And then just have one for like getting a whole bunch of rings. So those are cool. And the way they have it, it's supposed to have one tile on the front and then just that open jumper on the back. Personally, just to keep it all together, I do put some of those tiles back to back. So here's the back of it. The wall is coming through. There we go. You can see where the front and back are. Oops. I mean, they encourage them to put in a little different spot. But I'm going to move that back where it needs to. Even though I thought, I'm just going to center it. Because most of this is centered like that. Yeah. Okay. That works. I'm just going to slide this one here. So I know it's there. And extra pieces over there. Bring our boy back. Bing. Another one. And bag number 6. Our final bag. Or should I say our final egg? Because we're building Eggman, aka Dr. Robotnik. So I always grew up knowing him as Dr. Eggman. Because by the time I was into the Sonic games, Eggman became like the nickname. Even though I did know of older games that used Robotnik in the instruction manuals and the names of the game. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, for example. Like, I didn't think this was a whole other person. It was like, okay, I know that's the same one, even though it looks much more cartoony. And I did not know of the cartoon TV show that style was based on at the time. Oh boy. Okay, so this one is going to be rough, only in the way. Do I have any projects in the pipeline? Well, I don't know what other ones are out there currently. I haven't checked on the site for some bit. I did want to propose a project or two, but I was not able to submit it because the theme that it was based on, or the license IP that it was based on, was not accepted at the time. I don't know if it's changed by now. I thought it would be for some time, but I actually tried to type it in there and it said, nope, not accepting any for this. So what I had, one of my best mocks I've ever made is a vignette of Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors. And this is something that people have told me to submit to Lego Ideas. Like, they liked it so much, they thought it was of that caliber. I'm like, that's high praise. And the first time I kind of dismissed it. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'm also the kind that kind of downplays it. So even though I accepted the compliment, I'm like, I don't know if it really would do anything or be useful. Um, but by the second or third time that I had been told that from different people from different time frames, I thought maybe I should try it out. So I went onto the Lego Ideas, and by this point, they had an ability in which you could check the IPs. And when I typed Little Shop of Horrors in there, it did not accept it. It said that they're not accepting any projects from that IP. I don't really know if there was like a problem with it or if they were just kind of narrowing things for a moment. So I'm like, well, that stinks. And beyond that, I don't have any other major. I don't have any other mocks that I would bring to that caliber to make an Ideas project about. I could think of plenty of things I would like to propose to Lego Ideas, but I don't have a project, concept model to back them up. Heck, as a kid, I think I still have the letter for this. As a kid, I wrote to Lego in the 5th grade asking about making certain things as Lego sets. And they had a very kindly worded letter written back to me from Enfield, Connecticut, in which they, thoroughly explained that while we enjoy the enthusiasm of our fans, or something to that effect, we do not accept ideas from outside sources. We have lots of people who, design these projects from our own, from our own staff, from our own facility. Um, and unfortunately, I don't think any of them became Lego sets. So the ideas that I had proposed back then were, I actually had a bunch more ideas that I didn't write in the letter, but and I was almost kind of convinced by my brother and almost by my mom that they wouldn't go anywhere. So the one of the ideas, this was in 2005. So okay, they had the Lego Bionicle, they had the play sets for Bionicle, and this was during the Bachelor. This was during like the Toa Hordika and the Vetrinui saga stuff. So a bunch of characters were represented in there, but some were not made in that smaller minifig like form. And I thought at the time it would be cool if they had developed a set that expands upon the castle themes that they have so far. There are like 3 or 4 of them. But I tried to create another version, and I could probably come up with roughly what it looks like now, but I might have to change it a bit. I don't know if I have authentically photos from them. But I tried to make one as like Rudaka's lair. So, having a Rudaka minifigure along with the other, the mainline figures to fight against. That didn't become a set. They did not make that as a thing. Another one was about mini monorails, and this was literally just a miniature scale system in which you would have one brick wide or one stud wide running track that you could ride a monorail through. And this was before I even knew Lego monorails were a thing at one point. And it sort of became a thing. They did implement a system like that in 2006, the following year, with Exoforce in the Sentai Fortress. And sometimes after that, I don't remember exactly which sets, but they did something like that afterward. But then, I forget what the third one in my letter was, but I know that there were 3. I have to go back and read it. Then I remembered I wanted Lego SpongeBob, so that one did become a thing, but not because I wrote in the letter, not because I actually submitted that to Lego. I wrote down other ideas um, around the time of the letter, but did not include in there. So that was more of like wishful thinking, writing it down off the side, and I'm glad that it became a thing. Like basically the next year, 2006. Um, and no duh, I got the Build-A-Bob and the Krusty Krab in that year. So that one worked, but not because I influenced it, not because it was just wishful thinking, like the Sonic said. Um, the other one that I can think of was Lego Rocket Power because I thought, oh, they've made extreme sports sets, they've made skateboards and snowboards and things like that. They could do that with Rocket Power. I wanted to see more Lego Nickelodeon stuff at the time, apparently. So that didn't become a thing. And they also made, or I also wanted them to make Lego Creator Star Wars. So Lego Creator being the sandbox style of playing with Lego bricks, building your own things digitally, actually making them move and explode and fire and everything like that, but have the theme of it as Star Wars because they had already tapped into Harry Potter and Knight's Kingdom by that point. So I thought Star Wars is popular and it has a lot of potential for something like that to to take off. But I was basically talked down that idea by my brother and my mom because Lego doesn't make Star Wars. So they would have, and much in the same way about Nickelodeon. You know, that's not just their decision to make it. They would have to work with another company to make that. Okay, I learned pretty early about licensing. I just meant in terms of Lego things and Lego things you're making. But yeah, I got that ideas thing is for Green Day. Got lazy with making the prints. That would be cool. So that Lego Green Day and making one for any specific band reminds me of two things. It reminds me of how we almost got Lego the White Stripes and didn't. And it also reminds me of Connects, which did the Beatles and Kiss. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start with the Connects story first. Connects a couple of years ago had licensed sets based on the Beatles and based on Kiss, like the bands. And this was before Lego had the Beatles submarine, Yellow Submarine. So there was a Connects one. It's kind of choppy in the way that it's built. The whole of it, the actual siding of it, is like a couple of large, almost cardstock pieces that just kind of hang over the side of it. I didn't build it, but I looked at it in the store and I'm like, no. Although I probably could have gotten the figures because they had the figures in a separate pack. And that was the cool thing about it was you could buy the set that has the figures with it, or you could buy just the figures on their own in a 4-pack for like $10, maybe 15 at most. And the same thing happened with Kiss. But with Kiss, I couldn't find the individual pack. And Toys R Us, I remember finding the truck. There was a big tour truck that they had that folds out. It has a stage with all the instruments on it. I actually have a review on my channel of that set, going very thoroughly into detail about these articulated figures that they made exclusively for these two bands. That's actually really cool because it Connects figures, they vary all over the place. But those were actually pretty good. They were respectable size compared to minifigures. They had just what they needed as far as authenticity. They actually, compose their arms and legs with ball joints. So more articulated than a minifigure. So that was fun. And that set, the Kiss one, I do not have anymore. I gave that one to my dad after moving because I know that he's a big Kiss fan. So I thought that would be a good piece for him. A good display piece with other Kiss things that he has. And as far as I can tell, he still has it. So yeah. Now, the other story, the White Stripes story, I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I don't know if it's cheating to talk about it now, and I thought like this is a story I had known for a while, and I had thought about putting into Bizarre Lego, but I'll be frank, it's not in there right now, but it can be. Um, Basically, the White Stripes approached Lego. They wanted to make minifigures based on the band, the White Stripes, to release with one of their singles. And they had also made a music video with the help of someone else who animated it out of Lego bricks. And that music video, Fell in Love with a Girl, is still available on YouTube and still shows it in Lego form with how the characters look. And it's really, really good animation. But Lego said no to the partnership to, create print, specifically custom minifigures for those members of the band. And then sometime later, from what research I've gathered, from sometime later, the band and that song got popular, and Lego approached them to say, "Hey, we're willing to reconsider," and the White Stripes said no. They were like, "All right, you know what? We approached you, you turned us down, and we're gonna say no out of spite, basically." A very, very interesting story. Again, I don't have a lot of sources for it, so that's why I haven't included it into Bizarre Lego yet. But from what I have heard, that's how it went, and I think that's amazing because that's an interesting thing for itself. That you know, this was at a time that Lego did have some people approaching for certain partnerships or these kind of little things. And yet we still see that nowadays. Will I Am has a custom minifigure with a Lego education tile for who knows what reason. Um, oh, so there is a printed tile in here. I do not know if it's a brand new one, but it looks really nice. Like the little dials on it. This looks like the kind of piece that might show up in juniors or 4 plus or whatever, but I don't know for sure if it is. It's just cool that it's there. Um, yeah, that's fair enough. That there's a lot of idea projects that get into the running and only few selected. Like I could understand about if you know I think it would make more sense if they up the standard of it, where it's like instead of going to 10K supporters, it goes to 20K or 50K or something that's like, okay, if we're really going to be picky about what becomes an actual product, and you think, oh, this is one that we're really, really going to produce, that we're going to put a lot of effort into it. Maybe it should have a better backing system that that you can be sure that many people want to see this as a real thing. But by the same proxy, it also gives people a lot of chances to try to reach up to that point, to actually pursue that. Um, I don't know. It's a 1x5. It's a 1x5. I was looking this up online the other day, and I'm like, I don't even know if I have a set with that 1x5 plate. I don't think they have a 1x5 brick yet, though. So I hope they do. The White Stripes is allowed on Lego Ideas. Oh, that's awesome. That's the best part of it. See, that's the one thing I was hoping that Lego Video would be. some kind of low-key collaboration with Universal Music Group, UMG, has the licensing, as far as I can tell, to a lot of artists. They have labeling, they have the ability, as far as I understand, and I could be wrong, and if I am, please correct me. As far as I understand, they have the ability to approach a lot of um, music groups, but I don't know if that's just about the music or if it includes their brand. Like if you wanted to have merchandise for a specific artist, officially licensed merchandise using their logo or their faces or whatever mascots they have with it or whatever. I don't know if it's UMG or one of those kinds of labels you'd have to approach about it, or if it's the band or both. But if it was about the band, if it was about approaching both, that would have been a shoe-in opportunity for Lego, that they could get minifigures of artists created, having a bunch of bands represented at the same time, um, with maybe some overlapping music theming to it, kind of like what they actually did with video. And I don't know, it sounded like a win-win to me. I think it's also because of the rumors that I had heard over time, that many people were kind of hoping for that when they heard, oh, Lego is partners with UMG, so that means we could get, certain artists like that, as far as I understand. Um, cool. So there's the first side of the ship, all built up with some plates, some modified plates and things, some slopes, kind of rounding it out towards the sides of it. It actually looks pretty nice. A little winglet. Yeah, pretty cool. And then I'm building the other side now. Um, as far as things that I'm making, like not on Lego ideas, I have a couple ideas. I have a couple projects that I've been working on for some time. For one thing, some of these are carrying over from last year, so it's not like I had a deadline. I got to make it by this point. It would have been nice if I could, but I'm not saying I'm not going to ditch the project entirely if I don't make it by a deadline. It's like, okay, I can still make it for later. There will still be opportunities to present it, and I could just bring it up then. Um, and number two, some of them are actually kind of fun to bring back something that I used to make. So some of the things that I had actually put out there before last year, especially, were building Lego mocks that I had as a kid, but revamping them or trying to make them authentically. I've done a bit of both. Um, so New Golly from Bionicle, that was my um, my revamp because I used different pieces than what I used to, but I still got the idea of what I wanted to build out of it, and I had pieces that I didn't have before. So, and an example of one where it was made authentically, like almost to the T of what it was before. Maybe like one or two parts were changed a bit total. Where was the Morbazak tree, also from Bionicle. That one I had the photo, so I knew exactly how it was put together, and I copied it from every part, except for like one or two of them that I didn't know about. But I thought, hey, this might be an improvement from what I had before, for all I know. So I was happy with that. Um, there's a couple other ones like that that I'd still like to do. Um, Streamline Convertible would be an awesome one to rebuild and make better because this was like on the creator expert side of building a Lego car. And I don't build Lego models that big or of that kind of scale in general. So for me to build that many years ago was amazing, and it was actually really fun. I would love to try to build that again, maybe improve some things here and there, because despite the name of Streamline Convertible, one, it was streamlined really only halfway through it. The back half of it was more boxy. So I think that could be something I could improve to make it a bit more um, flowing, from one side to the other. And two, I think it would help if I actually made it more like a convertible because it didn't actually convert. There was no inclination that it would convert into, you know, into another form of the car like your actual convertible. Is more just the outside look of it. No functions really except for the front where the hood could open and you could swap engines. Um, the back had a trunk that opened. I I think that was about it. I think it had two seats, if I remember correctly. But I also have a blurry picture of it, so I don't know if that part will help. Oh, I see. Okay, all right. So bag six did actually have two emeralds. And as you build two different models in it, you get one for each. So here we have the completed Eggmobile. I don't mind the blues and yellows in there. Makes it easy to see in there. It gets mostly covered up by the end of it. It still kind of fits the color scheme of the thing. Like the blue isn't off-putting. So that looks fine there. Um, yeah, not a bad model all the way around. It's not like Amiibo for scale. You can almost run underneath it. You need to have real adults, but most are too mature to purposely market to kids. Yeah, that's true. Um, make more idea sets. It seems pretty popular. Maybe. Um, let me think. What other? Oh, so there was a mock that I made several years ago based on the Lego pop-up workshop near me, um, which luckily I had the privilege to work at, and I really enjoyed the experience of it. But it no longer exists. It was only for the holiday season, um, with the promise of if we do well enough, then we'll make it an established Lego brand retailer. I don't know. I mean, I know what the other locations are, but I don't know if any of them had better success with that of becoming a full Lego store afterward. I hope that they did, even if ours didn't. But either way, I still enjoyed the experience, whether or not it was going to be temporary. So I drew it upon myself to analyze the store while I was working there and try to rebuild it in Lego and in minifigure scale. And I've brought that to conventions. I've been meaning to make a video about it, and I honestly wanted to get one out before New Year's. Um, but I could still do that. And I still want to show what the thing was when I built it. What um, what was the original mock as I put it together. And there were several Bricklink orders and things that helped with putting it all together. So I still want to show it for what it was. However, I'd also like to update it so I could improve some details, add some building techniques, and even explore a little bit more of what the store was than I had done originally. So that could be things from the stock room, the employee bathroom, any areas that weren't accessible to the general public. Um, that would be great to add on to it, just to for showing what that was like. I have some photos to reference from, which makes it a little bit easier. Um, but I would not share about that until building the thing. I feel like that'd be fair to, compare it to that. I actually have wanted to print out the photos I had from the store so that I can have them in a booklet side by side with the Lego model. So if I bring it to a convention, people know what it's supposed to be like. Because this is a place you can't visit anymore. It was temporary. So I thought, hey, this will be this will make more sense to people having it next to each other, so you know what this was about. Maybe a little write up with it or something like that. So that's a project that I'm revamping, which is honestly pretty cool because I don't usually go back into mocks and update them at some point or rebuild them entirely. It's usually, once it's ready to go to conventions and display, then that's like its peak form, and anything other than that, it would normally get destroyed or just wear out over time, or just stay the same. Um, Rarely do I change anything to the other things I build, but I do have one or two that I did change that I'm glad changed. So um, when I first built the Little Shop of Horrors vignette, I didn't have a sense of what size it was going to be, what scale, everything was going to be. It was the first foray for me personally making this um, vignette style. And I used a little bit of inspiration from other people, but mostly came up with it on my own. Like the trimming along the bottom of it has all light bluish gray 1x1 round tiles. That was just my own choice. So the fact that I went back to that one after building other vignettes and I increased the height of it was kind of cool because, again, I don't normally update the mods. So I could have either stuck with the height that they were at already, or I um, I modified the formula basically, and I basically updated the formula for it because the second one that I built after that was based on Rocky Horror Picture Show, and that one needed extra height to get a balcony. So I was like, okay, all I got to do in the Little Shop of Horrors one is just update the what you call it. All I got to do to update it is update the height by like a couple brick layers, and it's done. And it doesn't change what it was before. I do think that the structure of the Little Shop of Horrors one could be improved greatly because there's a lot of hodgepodge in the back of it just to make it stable and just to make it um, it's like more colorful than it needs to be, but it's also the camera shy side of it that it doesn't need to be seen like that. Um, so I don't know. Maybe I could go back to that one at some point and just tidy that up. But it's also the side that, like I said, isn't seen by most people. So it's not as big a deal if I don't. I've had a bunch of projects sitting for years and years in the back of my mind that I would build. Some of them I've kind of dropped off. I'm like, it might be too much. It's too ambitious. Or so. I think the biggest project that I have right now, as far as mocking it goes, is working on Studside Heights, my Lego beach town, and trying to get that to the full extent I want it to be. Like, if I'm going to use brown and black and tan on a model, I want it to be for Studside Heights because I need the train tunnel built and dark gray and light gray. Need to get that all together before making something else out of it. So yeah, um, I don't. I think it would be cool if I tried to build other childhood mocks, but I don't have too many of them where I have the pictures or the pictures are very blurry. Um, Another one off the top of my head I can think of building again is the mock that I built for a Batman contest back in the day. I had a entry for a building contest in the Lego Club magazine for Batman, and it was around the time of the first wave of Batman sets, 2006 or so, 2008 maybe. No, it was 2008 exclusively, and I'll explain why in just a moment. Um, the the way that I had entered the contest, I tried to build um, Penguin Submarine, which I did not have as a Lego set. But the problem was I also didn't have the Penguin as a minifigure because up to that point he was only available in one large Lego set, which was the Batcave. 2008 gave me another opportunity to get the Penguin in a smaller set. So I literally bought a Lego set just for this competition, which ironically, yes, already had a Penguin submarine, but I'm making my own. I'm not going to copy that one. I'm not going to enter that one as my own. I'm making it a different thing. Oh boy. All right. Yeah, so we have already reached the end of Dr. Robotnik, which is almost the end of the build itself. Make what you will of this. I think it does have some good curvature here and there as far as the body, but I will bring up about the ideas project version in some little bit. I think that one did some things better than what's here. And you cannot move the legs; they are static. They are made to always be standing like that, unless you move the feet, to the sides. And he just kind of sits in there. He does have a connection of a stud to actually sit him in the vehicle. Also, at the end of the instructions, when you put him into the ship, Sonic has once again lost his rings. And the last Chaos Emerald, right there, kind of having a rainbow color to them. It also shows in the back of the instructions some of the play features. Bring that forward. So you can see how to use the spring, how it's a very skinny area. I personally not all too into. And then you have, I should probably back this up a little bit. See the instructions a little more clearly. There we go. So it's a 2-page wide layout of the whole setup, all of all the parts to it, all the things put together, posing with it. And then the next page leads you into Lego ideas, how you can, submit a project or support other ones and get them made into official Lego sets. I don't have any of the ones they show on here. So they have the typewriter, the Fender Stratocaster, and the Home Alone. I do not have any of them, and right now I haven't been interested to get them. There's a feedback and win page. The win page is not the same without the win kid. I'm sorry. I like that. Even as a kid, I like that. It was just fun. Then we get the parts count on one page here, and 2 more pages back here. A lot of parts. A lot of different variety of parts. So to answer my, and there's also nothing in the back as far as anything after the page. I mentioned this in the beginning of the stream because I already peeked at it. They have the end screen where Eggman or Robotnik is jumping on the actual words that say end or thin and squishing them. Let's see. How many 1x1 plates were used in here. Reddish brown, 107. So that's 10% of the whole set was just reddish brown 1x1 plates. All throughout the whole thing. All throughout this thing. All throughout there. There we go. That's a better angle for it. How many in that lighter nougaty color? 110. Again, 10%. Like so think about like this is a $70 set. Everything. It has 1,125 pieces. 210 pieces are just about building the checkered ground look and some of the upper sides like the loops and things like that. Just for that, 20%, so a fifth of this whole thing, parts wise, is based on that. That's a lot of parts. I don't know why I thought it might be more, but interesting where it is. Definitely not as many for all the greenery, getting the striping look there, I would imagine. Because it's only on the outside of it and on the top of it. So there's that. All in all, this was still a really awesome build. It's an awesome display piece. The fact that there's more things you can do on the ends of it leads me to believe we'll have more to do on the end of it. I really hope that it does expand into other things. And hopefully other characters, getting a Knuckles, getting a Tails. But even for this on its own, it captures what it needs to for a Sonic level. It's got all the basics that you could think of. Like except for like branching pathways, that's the only thing I could say is like, oh, that's a staple of Sonic that should be here. But you have you have the palm trees with that jagged leaf look. Over here. There we go. You got the palm trees with that jagged look. You have a straightaway or so, but also having a bridge. So more than just land, you have some water. You have a checkpoint that can actually swivel, actually, turn it around to mark that you've been through it. You've got a loop, which is iconic. A lot of Sonic levels, they love to use their loops and some forms of slopes. And you got a spring. So you can actually spring them up into the air. You could have probably also had ones where you spring them forward or backward, because those exist, and those are also a difficulty setting for a lot of levels in Sonic. That you use some of them to progress forward, but you also have ones that pop up to push you back. If you're not careful while running, you have to avoid those as well. You've got your item boxes, and you've got a variety of items that could be in those boxes. Pretty much your staple items of Sonic. So it could be more health, more life, invincibility, running faster, and yeah, actually, that was it. I don't know how else I was going with that one. You've got several different enemies, kind of your basic staples of Sonic enemies. Robotic things based on animals that have animals trapped inside of them. It would be cool if you actually could fit a small animal in there, but I get that it would be hard to build it accurately like that. Unless you built it much larger. It also would have been cool if there was some kind of trapping case, some prison case thing at the end of it that like you could literally put Sonic on top of it, pushing a button and knocks a doorway out or something to let the animals out, just like at the end of a boss level. This is still a beefy build on its own, like taking a lot of parts and just having a big size and space to it. But if you're going to have an Eggman vehicle, this is the Eggman vehicle you have. It's a basic, hovering vehicle that he would use, that he would be associated with, can't actually control it. The arms don't close enough together for that. But still looks like he has some presence, and you can still have his arms posable in different directions, moving things around, getting a little expressive here and there. I'm still a little weary about the face. Yep. All right, one sec. What's up? Oh, there. Scooby's in here. Yeah. Okay. We'll go. I gotta close this up. But this was awesome. And thank you all for watching.